Good afternoon, evening, and good night, sports fans. No, not really good night. We have just started. We are on the come up. We are on YouTube Live. Hopefully all this works good. Hopefully it sounds good. I
Hope
have
so.
my YouTube video live on one of my TVs, so I will pop it up here in a second. If you saw the transition, hey, we're not big time yet, but we're getting there on the transitions. We'll figure it all out as we go. But we are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
Okay.
are. You hear us. We are presented by PrizePicks, a daily fantasy sports app simplified, where all you have to do is use code You Hear Us. You'll get a 100% deposit match, and on top of that, if you win, you get 10 times the amount. If you get all 5 right that night, it's
Dang
it's
straight.
a little tough, but there's people out there that can
Oh
do
my
it.
gosh.
There's people out there that can
Dude,
do it.
I thought I was gonna win the other night. I took the little special they had on Bryce
Mm-hmm.
Young. I had Slade Bolden for over 4 catches. I had oh my gosh, I think I had the running back for over Georgia's running back for 50 yards or something like that. And then I had LaMelo Ball to get me 6 assists. All he got was 3. And I had a power play, and brother was heartbroken.
That's how it happens right there. You always have that one, and then it doesn't happen, kind of thing.
That
Yeah,
one. Nope.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've lost my ass off these last few times, but we're gonna get back on track this weekend because it is super wild card weekend.
Weekend.
Gonna fix your camera just a little bit, so we're gonna transition again.
Okay.
Damn.
Too. There we go. Man,
It didn't.
closer.
No, it's not you. It didn't do the cool transition.
Oh, okay.
That sucks. It just fixed it. All right, maybe that's only when I switched to other pictures, which we do have one coming up because today's live show we will be doing our 2021 NFL regular season awards. Now we're not going to do the same awards that other people do. We're not doing the MVPs, the lineman of the year, all that. We're kind of doing some different ones. We're going to do some skills players. We're going to do some athletes, the things you need to know, the things you want to know. But before we get to that, let's get into the what you want to know in other sports besides the NFL. The NFL obviously runs this podcast show quite a bit. But last night we had some basketball games, and we had some Big 12 basketball games. And one of them a lot of people might not have seen was my Kansas Jayhawks playing the Iowa State Cyclones, who were 15th in the nation. KU was 9th in the nation. Guess where you could see that game?
Well, like ESPN Plus.
Yeah, ESPN Plus, not ESPN, not ESPN2, ESPN Plus.
No,
the paid version.
Unfortunately,
paid version.
I guess I didn't realize I hadn't updated my ESPN Plus account because I tried turning the game. It was like, you don't have an account, and I was scrambling around. And by the time I got it all figured out, game was over.
Yeah, that's never good.
No.
But yeah, KU ended up winning by 1. It went from like not a whole lot of scoring to the last like 30 seconds. I was like, all right, they're gonna hold for the last shot, and then KU scored, or they're gonna hold so there's not much time left, and then KU scored, and then Iowa State took the ball down the court, and then they scored real quick, and I was like, why are you guys leaving time on the clock? And then DeJuan Harris came out, ran down the court, made a layup, and then Iowa State took a shot there at the end, missed it, and we knocked it out of bounds to get the win. So number 9 won, 15 down. Number 1 Baylor down to Texas Tech. And if you told me at the beginning of this year that a Coach Beardless Texas Tech team, because he went to Texas this year, would be 2-0, or in the last 2 games they'd be 2-0 against probably the top 2 favorites to win the Big 12 this year.
Oh yeah,
I would tell you you're tripping. You're tripping. But
yeah, absolutely.
They beat KU on Saturday, and they turned around and let Baylor know that they can get all the hands and smoke they want to. I did tweet out there was an on your head moment. He drove a little quick spin and just went yam right on top of him. I was like, what just happened? You don't see that a whole lot from where we're from in the Midwest.
No, you don't.
But yeah, we might have to catch a Texas Tech KU game in Allen because they played in Lubbock, which your brother was talking about a little bit, that there just ain't much.
It's nothing.
There ain't nothing to do down there. There in Lubbock. But
He says you just drive, all of a sudden it appears out of
Yep,
nowhere.
exactly. That's what that's basically what he told us. He was telling me and G that at practice today.
Yeah.
But that went down in college basketball. Another quick little news piece in college basketball is that when Duke plays their next game, Coach Krzyzewski, they're going to get some practice for it's going to look like next year. He will not be coaching on the sideline next game, I believe, when they take on. Was it tonight? Even was it
Tech?
even? Yeah,
it's tonight.
it was tonight. So
was it Georgia Tech?
No, it was Wake Forest, and they actually did just fine. They won by 12, so they are good there. But in other news, how is your North Carolina team doing? I'm sure you're keeping up with them.
I didn't keep up with it recently. So my daughter's coming in to help me with another
You're
light.
good.
Thank you, Tate. Yeah, you're okay. I got it.
At least you
Thank
have a producer over there. I don't have one.
Yeah, my producer's coming to
I'm
help me
winging it over here, just hoping I get everything right. But
right.
If anybody's in the chat, make sure you say hi. If you're not following us on YouTube and you see this later on after the live show, please do go like the video and subscribe to the You Hear Us live show on YouTube. It will help us out immensely, kind of gain some traction and be able to see everything that's going on. So,
Duke played Wake Forest.
Yeah, I got that.
Yep.
But then I was trying to think of who else because really, is the Big 12 going to be the best conference this year, hands down? Like,
I would like to think. I don't think the ACC has much to offer because Carolina's not as strong as they've been in the past, and Duke is good, but they're not. I don't think anybody can challenge
Texas
Duke.
Tech's ranked, Iowa State's ranked, KU's ranked, Baylor's ranked, and this is just in the top 25. I mean,
it'll be the Big 12 and maybe the Pac-12.
Yeah, USC, but USC just got upset by Stanford last night too.
That's true. That's true.
So that was another top 5 that's going down as well. So I mean, it's
the SEC. It's always weird for me in the SEC. Like Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Alabama are all ranked.
Yeah, I think that they're more of a we're gonna be the sneaky good teams in the dance. Like, we're gonna be the number 8 Alabama team that makes it to the Sweet 16 because you underestimated us and we just got dudes that can just jump out of the gym, kind of thing.
Did you watch any of the Alabama-Auburn basketball game?
I did not. Auburn, that is a sneaky good team. Like, they might be.
Dude, it was take the ball out the net and let's see how fast we can get down the court.
Yeah, well, that's the kind of basketball you like to watch too. I mean, but yeah, USC that was the highest rank they've been in 5 decades almost. Number 5.
Oh,
yeah,
good Lord.
And they, I guess, didn't want that ranking because they went ahead and took that
not.
L real quick.
No, at Stanford, there was no fans. Like, that's got to be so hard to play.
But no, we haven't talked much about college basketball because obviously, the NFL's taken the front seat.
Yeah.
They called shotgun. They basically get it until it's over for them.
Right.
But the top 10 in basketball, in college basketball, since we haven't ran down that, is Baylor. This is as of Monday. Baylor, Gonzaga, UCLA, Auburn, USC, Arizona, Purdue. I don't know. Never mind. I got to get back to this. Why is Gonzaga still ranked in the top 5?
I mean,
it's so dumb.
Took you right out of
it. Does, but it's dumb. They've lost 2 games. KU's lost 2 games. I guarantee you, Kansas, Michigan State, Duke, and probably USC, who's 13-0. I'm sure their strength of schedule is 20 times harder than Gonzaga. Gonzaga's played 2 good.
Oh, yeah.
Gonzaga's played UCLA, who they lost to, and they're somehow ranked in front of them.
No, they beat UCLA. They lost to Duke.
Yeah, they lost to Duke, and who else?
They lost to Bama.
Yeah, and you're ranked number 2. Like, that's just insane to me. They get so much love.
No.
They're going to be a number 1 team. They're going to get bounced in like they had one good year. They had 1 year where they could show that they could actually be a decent team, and it's not going to happen again. Like, it happens every year.
They get to be ranked high because of they start the season ranked number 1 or 2. So then now the AP poll's like, okay, can't let them get outside the top 10. So
yeah, because
if they lose, we just bump them down a slot.
Yeah, Alabama is 11-4. They just lost to Missouri, who lost to freaking UMKC, and that team, Alabama team, went and beat Gonzaga. Like, they need to do it.
Oh, they didn't even think about that.
Yeah, but they need to do it. They need to do it more like football. Like, they need to look at who you've played, because Gonzaga shouldn't be ranked in the top 10 with their 2 losses with the Bama. I mean, Bama They
No.
just lost to Missouri. They're going to be outside of the top 25 now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Yeah, but top 10, I was at Arizona. It went Purdue, then Duke, Kansas, who gets no love, and Michigan State. I mean, Kansas they're 12-2. They lost to Dayton, who I don't know. Dayton's not ranked anymore, but and then they just lost to Texas Tech, who at that point was ranked 19th. So, I mean, the Dayton loss kind of sucks, but like that shows you how you look at Gonzaga and how you look at Kansas this year. Gonzaga can.
I almost feel like since Texas Tech beat KU and Baylor back to back, Texas loss should count for more, so they get to move up in the AP rankings.
Oh yeah, I mean I agree. I mean Texas Tech with the way they played, Texas Tech is 11-3. They just beat 2 of the top 10 teams, number 1, and as of they were 6 KU was 6 at the time when they lost to Tech. Yeah, because they moved down 3. So, hey, if we're gonna do it Gonzaga's way, Texas Tech better shoot up to top 5. They should be top 5 of the nation. I mean, I just don't. I don't understand these rankings. I mean, I just need to be able to get a vote. It's not fair. Yeah.
Right. I mean, we need to get our AP status so we can get a vote.
I guess so, because I would be voting a little bit better than these people, I feel like. But
yeah, I mean, we are the press.
Yeah, we are the press. But anyway, in other sporting news, Ben Simmons, like this is something like because of NFL being the main dog, but the trade deadline in the NBA is coming up. I think it's in like it's in it right after the All-Star weekend or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's right around there.
So I mean, it'll be right after the playoffs. I think All-Star weekend comes down and all that stuff in the NFL. But it almost feels like this is going to be a Deshaun Watson thing without the rapey allegation thing. Like,
yeah.
Like 76 should be like, all right, you don't want to play, that's fine. Well, guess what? If you don't want to play for us, you just ain't gonna play for nobody. Like that's what it seems like they're doing now, and they're winning games just fine too. I mean, the Philadelphia 76ers are toting a pretty good record there. I mean, Joel Embiid's playing out of his mind. He might enjoy it because the floor's
I think he likes
the floor space. I mean, they're 23-17. They did just lose to the Hornets by 11. And JoJo probably had under 30 points every time I'm like, all right, he ain't scoring 30 this game. He scores 31. I picked him twice in my last 2 prize picks to get under 30.5, and he gets literally exactly 31.
Yeah.
And both of the games,
it always backfires.
And both of the games were against the Rockets, and I was like, all right, it'll be fine. He's probably not even going to play in the third quarter. Like, we'll be good to go. No, he gets 31 and then sits down at the end of the fourth. But anytime I pick somebody else to like have a good game because they're playing a lesser team, oh damn, that did not look good for the Bulls player. They end up, he just hyperextended his knee pretty bad, and it was number 5. Never mind, that's the Clippers. I don't know who that is. No, that's the Bulls. Derrick Jones Jr.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's athletic.
Yeah, well, he might not be anymore. That did not look good. Yeah, it bent backwards. His knee went back, and his shin went forward, and so did his thigh or whatever. So, yeah, not good at all. But, and like, that just happened. Wait a minute. How many minutes do you play in the NBA?
12-minute quarters or 15-minute quarters?
Is it 15 or 12? Because if it's 15, there's 11-15 left to go in the first, and not a single team has scored.
No, I think it's 12. I think it's 12 minutes in the NBA.
I feel like that's not that much.
Yeah, 12 minutes.
I feel like it's crazy that you play 15-minute quarters of football, but you play 12 minutes in basketball. I feel like basketball you would play a little bit more minutes.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Yeah. I think, no.
Who knows?
You're right.
I know I'm right. I can't remember time I was wrong. Shout out Lil Yachty. But anyway, talk about something else. Let's talk about this Brian Flores coaching thing. It came out that he got let go because he didn't see eye to eye with the guy that's been there for 21 years, and the best coach you had is the coach you just fired. Like it comes to that. Obviously, it sounds like he might have been saying some things about Tua, but it sounds like he didn't care. Like he's saying it right to Tua's face. He'll take that smoke kind of thing. And I mean, as a player, I feel like you have to kind of respect that the coach is going to call you out. And Tua did kind of say that on the Sunday Night Football game that, he sees a lot of similarities between his dad and the way Flores coaches, that he's going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear kind of thing. But it does sound like he maybe was taking a little bit more out on Tua and letting him know but basically saying, everybody's playing good besides our quarterback kind of thing. But does this reflect more on Brian Flores, or does this reflect on Tua being, or not Tua, the Dolphins just being a dumpster fire of a franchise?
I think it's a little bit of both. In regards that if Flores is doing this to try to get Deshaun or something like that, or trying to get his way with the quarterback situation, if he's going to do that and he knows the GM is not backing him on that, like, don't press the issue. Like, you're going to end up pushing yourself out of the situation which you're in, which they did. Also, the Giants are, or not Giants, but Giants are a dumpster fire. But the Dolphins,
the Giants are a dumpster fire, they're trying to, they're at least finally trying to start to put it out because they did finally get rid of Joe Judge. Both the coaches that I was standing for to get out, and Joe Judge and Matt Nagy, are finally out. Like, the thing that not scared me, but the thing that was crazy enough for me was the fact that they gave Joe Judge this much time afterwards. But this is my personal thing. This is what I believe. This is what I kind of want to happen. I want Brian Flores and Lou Riddick. I want
to go to the Giants.
Bingo. You saw it here first.
Bingo.
And we could talk about this a little bit because I did put this in the coaching carousel. Let me just read off all the people that have been fired. I wrote it on the back of my
it's
a list. So the head coach is fired was the Broncos Fangio. He was kind of the first to go if you don't count Urban Meyer and John Gruden earlier in the season. And then we have Coach Zimmer for the Vikings, Matt Nagy for the Bears, and Flores for the Dolphins. And then on the GM side, we had the Vikings GM, Rick Spielman. We had the Bears, Ryan Pace, and the Giants, Gettleman, who retired. But, I mean, he was like, it was one of those like, hey, either you do this or we're doing it for you kind of thing.
Oh, you're gone.
And then, of course, we have Joe Judge, who finally, I guess he can put on his resume, he lasted a little bit longer than the other coach or the other coaches and the GM there. So, it's not my fault, But, I mean, you kind of saw it. He went, we didn't see it, but he went quarterback sneak on like 4 plays in a row. So, yeah, I mean, that's one of those things that you're just like, okay, dude, you got to chill out a little bit there. Like, that's not coaching. It was almost like, hey, are you going to fire me now? What are you going to fire me now? Like, what do I have to do? Like, prove it to me you're not going to fire me kind of thing. But back to the Flores thing, because he is out. I mean, it's going to be one of those, like, maybe he was acting like that if he was, A lot of things come out after you get fired of how bad of a person you were, not how good of a coach you were kind of thing.
Right.
But so with the Flores thing is maybe he was acting out like that because he's like, hey, a couple of these positions that are opening up are a lot better than where we're at here. Let me go do that.
Yeah.
And there could be a few more. I mean, it's one of those that I also threw out there that if Flores doesn't end up going to which I think his favorite, or he should go New York, he can go. They're basically resetting it. That's a place to be. He's kind of like Judge in he's not going to take no crap, but he's a lot better of a coach to me. That would be a kind of a splash hire. I mean, the last 3 coaches for the Giants, you're like, okay, who's that? Okay. Like, I remember having to Google who the hell Joe Judge was. Like, I
didn't know.
I kind of knew who Pat Shurmur was, and then I kind of knew who what's his name, McAdoo was, but I knew McAdoo because it was one of those. He went from like this dorky looking dude, got a coaching job, and he had like hair slicked black, trying to look like he was the real deal. Let the fame get to him. But Joe Judge, I was like, who the hell is this? And as the Giants, you can't be a team that it's like, who the hell is this kind of thing. Like, you got to have like
you can't
Bill Parcells. You got to have like a somebody that you know who it is.
You have a dynamic personality.
Or somebody that's big. Like, that's Bright Lights Big City. Like, you don't see the Knicks out here not making splash hires. Like, Phil Jackson was past his time, but they still hired Phil Jackson to be a coach because of the name.
Yeah. You also got to get butts and seats.
Yeah, exactly. You got to do that for the Giants. And I think, having a predominantly African-American led team also brings in a lot more too. And Lou Riddick knows his shit, and Brian Flores has showed you I can come out here with what I think is a bum-ass quarterback, which I don't think Tua is. Yeah. I think Tua is serviceable. And I can win football games. And I can win games in the Patriots division.
This is the thing I don't get about him getting fired. They won 7 of their last 8. They didn't start off so hot. But then I feel like the Dolphins figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
They won 7 of their last 8. Okay, my thing is instead of firing him like have another sit down. It seems like the players respond to him, and the players like him. Like figure it out because you got a good one. But I mean, hindsight, whoever they hire now could be awesome, and they could be even better, which I
Yeah.
doubt it.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those. Back to how we were talking about the Giants and Knicks. Like Drew came into the chat and said the Knicks suck, horrible comp. Has he watched the Giants the last 5 years? Because I think that's a perfect comp. Because unlike the Knicks, the Giants can't make the playoffs. The last time the Giants made the playoffs, all the wide receivers and skills players were down in Florida the week before in Timberlands with their shirts off and jeans,
Oh my
hot as
gosh, I
hell.
forgot
But
about
that's the
that.
last time they reached the playoffs. Like at least the Knicks made kind of a little run last year and made it to the playoffs. So I think it was a good comp, and it's my show. So guess what? I win that argument. Next, no. Anyway, moving on. Not really moving on because we still need to talk about that. I think for the Bears, and I'll tell you why I think the Bears should be the team that maybe Jim John
Harbaugh.
Harbaugh should go to, and that's because
Wait, hold on.
Jim.
It's Jim Harbaugh,
Yeah.
Michigan. John Harbaugh's at Baltimore.
I think Jim should take the Bears job. He played there, so he can have another. Oh, this is kind of like he wasn't a very good quarterback in the NFL. Like he was maybe serviceable, but he was like, it's not like he was at Michigan. But that's his team that he's played for. He could go back there, lead them. They kind of have a good defense. He could be a defensive-minded coach, and he has, like again, he's going to have the best quarterback he's ever had at any place that he's been. Now,
right.
If he loves Michigan so much, does he want to coach an Ohio State quarterback and make him successful in the NFL? That's kind of up to him. I mean,
yes.
But it's a different drug. Like if he really wants to get in it, I think he can.
Here's how I look at it: is you can stay in Michigan and try to beat that freak show of Alabama and Georgia that we saw in the national championship, or you could go to the NFL and take a chance with Justin Fields and see what you can do.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably, if I'm him, I'm going to the NFL. I'm going to probably get paid a little bit more. Well, I'm probably going to get paid about the same, but I'm going to have more years now because Michigan goes back. He signed that contract, but if they go back to just not beating Ohio State again in 1 year, the questions are going to be back. All right, you beat them once, but you're not going to be able to do anything the rest of the time now, kind of thing. So I think he should go back to the Bears. You have that. You grow that. I mean, look what you did with I wouldn't say that Kaepernick was non-drafted, but he wasn't drafted very high. And he came in, he made, that's the exact same skill set that Justin Fields will have. I mean, he can run the football. He can hopefully pass a little bit better, and he's just going to grow. So the reason I say them and not the Raiders, because there was reports that he did say that, hey, I kind of like the Raiders. Let's go there. But I think Bisaccia, this is my Wednesday. I'm not hammering it down. I'm not stamping it. But you can't fire Bisaccia from the Raiders when they beat the Bengals this weekend. There's no way.
No, you can. Dude, no, yeah, you're opening up Pandora's box.
Yeah, and it's one of those, I don't understand how you can hate special teams coaches. You never see special teams coaches really getting head coaching jobs. No. But you see one of the best over in the Ravens who has won a Super Bowl, and he came from special teams. You want these defensive coaches, you have, and I'm not saying Todd Bowles is back, but that's just another, Bisaccia is not going to get a chance. He is the only coach that came in mid-season and has led a team to the playoffs. You got to give him a chance.
Especially that team.
That all the turmoil, all the things that happened.
Yeah, you got it. Hey, he deserves a shot. Will they give him a shot? No, because the Raiders don't do smart things.
Yeah, no, they'll mess it up, which is what's going to happen. But it's okay because we're going to have Derek Carr staying in the division again for 6 more seasons at least, and he can't beat the Chiefs, so we're going to be okay there. But that's good for us. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else, any top stories that you remember that you wanted to splash into before we get into our awards tonight?
I know Vegas made a shit ton of money off the national championship. I know that.
Yeah. Well, did they?
the Alabama or Georgia was a favorite, so I know all the money went towards Alabama.
Yeah.
Because I was betting Alabama. I know a bunch of my friends who bet on the game bet Alabama. I don't know if Potter bet Georgia. I can't remember if he did or not. He's in the chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know it wasn't just us. I know there's a lot of people out there like Alabama's going to destroy them.
Yeah. I mean, next year, early season, when you get early season projections of who's going to win the national championship later, I'm picking Bama. And there was a kind of a crazy stat in on the Pat McAfee show that Boston Connor, which he's a big Boston Patriots or a New England Patriots fan, but he said that any year that both or that the Alabama makes it to the national championship or BCS title bowl game or whatever title game, and they lose. I could be completely wrong because again I'm listening to a fan and I'm a fan of the show. That when Alabama or a Nick Saban led team loses the national championship, New England has won the Super Bowl.
What?
Yeah. So like if New England and Alabama make it to the title games and Alabama loses that year, New England's always won.
I think that's only happened twice, and it was the Falcons. And then when Tom Brady and them beat the Rams in that boring ass Super Bowl.
I'm just saying, I think.
Damn. And that's a stat I don't want to believe in, because Josh Allen's gonna.
My heart.
We'll get
my
there
heart
later.
doesn't want to believe in it, but my pocketbook, if the Patriots are like plus 1,500 to win the Super Bowl as of right now, I might throw a quick little hundo on there just to get 15K.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying exactly. But Potter says no over. He had the over, I guess. I don't know.
I got it. Yeah.
But let's move on to the You Hear Us Sports Show award show. And let's hopefully that this transition looks sick as hell when we go over to it. Here we go. Oh, yeah. We're there. Beautiful. Uh-oh. Wait for it. Wait for it. You'll see it. You'll see it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Wait for it.
Wait for it. I'll know when you know because I also have the camera up as well.
Yeah.
But, if you are listening to the podcast that is after this, make sure you go watch the live show because we got some transitions popping here. It's pretty legit.
I'm trying to do big things.
Yeah, for sure. But we are on the...
Oh, here it comes. I think.
The money. We are on to
our
award show. Yes.
Look at that.
We're gonna go bottom to top. We're gonna kind of explain our picks and everything, and we'll go from there. So I will let you go first on Coach of the Year, who you had.
Oh, Coach of the Year? I had Matt LaFleur.
Okay. And why is that?
Oh, you asked me why do I have Matt LaFleur? Dude, best record in the league. Probably the MVP on your team, especially with the turmoil they had at the beginning of the season. Is Rodgers going to play? Is he going to sit? Where's he going? To kind of fight through that and get that team where they're at. I mean, they're a team to beat. They look like the team to beat right now. So I got to roll with it. And he got the best record. I was going to go with Kingsbury, but that team just kind of fell apart towards the end.
I agree with you. Yeah, I didn't have Kingsbury or even LaFleur on my list. It actually came down to I wrote an article about one guy and really I think that he was going to be it. But then as I see what was going on through the AFC, through the NFC, how everything's going, I decided that I was going to go out on a little bit of a limb and even pick against who I wrote my article about earlier with the Tennessee Titans. I said it was going to be, or it should be, our boy over there, Mr. I'll cut.
Vrabel.
I think he said I think he literally said he'll cut his dick off for another Super Bowl ring. So if that happens this year, we're gonna have to hold him to it. But yes, Vrabel is not my coach of the year. I am going with why I think he should be the coach next year, Rick Bisaccia.
Okay.
Once it transitions.
Hey, Drew, don't give me a hard time in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, I like LaFleur.
Yeah.
I also like Vrabel. It was between him and Mike Vrabel.
But I got Bisaccia. All that, like you said again. You brought up some turmoil stuff like that. The Henry Ruggs deal starting off. And then not even a
Yeah.
week later, it was the racist John Gruden, or things got pulled up in his
Mm-hmm.
past. And then it was another cornerback got a DUI, and then it was, well, Derek Carr's no good no more. I mean, there was just so much stuff, and he actually came in, and it seemed like he gave them a little bit of juice and a little bit of, hey, we're here. He led that team to a few wins when what's crazy is Darren Waller didn't play for like 2 to 3 weeks, 3-4 weeks, and finally came back for the last game. So
Right.
yeah, I have.
I
It's
can
just
roll with
because
it.
of what had happened, and to be a coach that, granted, a lot of these interim coaches that came in, they came in because of a terrible record. They didn't come in because of things off the field happening and it going to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I went with Bisaccia. Next, we have our comeback player of the year. We're both on the same one. When you sent me yours, I was a little upset. I was hoping you'd pick somebody else.
Who else is it going to be?
I don't know if you remember, but the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys had like a compound fracture of his ankle
Oh
and
yeah,
came
I
back.
forgot. You know what? I was in the middle of
Yeah,
smashing chicken
I know
A's,
you
dude.
were.
I was under
But
pressure.
we both went with actually you went with Joe Burrow. I went with
Yeah.
Joseph L. Burrow. The L stands for Lee.
Okay.
But that L also, as of Wednesday, again, not hammering it yet, is going to be an L for them on the weekend games. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh,
Yeah, like
not my dark horse pick.
yeah. So we'll see how it goes. Um, Drew, I don't want to hear your shit in the thing.
Yeah, just
This dude
complaining.
is saying Vrabel, he lost one effing running back. He lost a running back. And if you're saying Ryan Tannehill's a terrible QB, how about we look at how bad Derek Carr's been? So I don't want to hear it. Yeah. Anyway, comeback player of the year, Joseph Burrow.
Creed Humphrey.
Yeah. Joseph Burrow's both of ours. He's mine because obviously, torn ACL. They were kind of flying high there last year, and what they've asked him to do with everything, with a terrible O-line, not even drafting an O-line for him, and he's still able to turn around a whole culture of the Bengals. I mean, they weren't even this good with Andy Dalton. Like, they were making playoffs and stuff like that, but this is a high-powered offense, and, they could have drafted Jamar Chase. That's fine, but if Burrow doesn't come back and play the way that he has this year, then he's not, like, they're not anywhere they need to be right now. Like, if he came back and saw Ghost or anything, they're kind of screwed. They're SOL. So that's why I went with Burrow.
With me, okay, that's not your MVP award. It's just comeback player of the year.
Obviously.
Yes, he had his ups and downs kind of with the team, but the number 3 seed, AFC, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Or,
no.
Number 3 seed. Yeah, it should be number 3 seed.
Yeah. No, 4.
4.
Yeah.
Either way.
They're 4 because they play the Raiders.
They're
5.
top. Yep.
Three's
Yep.
the
They're
Bills.
top 4 seed. I might be a prisoner moment, but this last half of the year, he has been lighting it up. I mean, to come back from a gruesome knee injury like he did, even though I'm pretty sure the Bengals tried to kill him, but I mean, he bounced back. And the way he's played, I've been nothing but impressed. There's other people we could have picked, but I had to go with Joe Burrow.
Yeah, and for Drew, I'm about to ban Drew Clark out of the chat for saying Jamar Chase made Joe Burrow, when obviously he must be prisoner of the moment, like you said, because last I checked, last year he had like 30-some touchdowns, and then tore his ACL and he was out. Or he was on pace for like a crazy amount of touchdowns in his first year with no offensive line without Jamar Chase. So it's one of those, like, I have no idea what he has going on there, what Drew's thinking. He's crazy. But moving on to the best athlete of the year. So this is kind of like, when you're coming out of high school and you might be the best player on the field, but you don't have a certain position. They got you running quarterback for the team. They got you running wide receiver for the team. They got you running running back. Basically, you're the water boy. You're the head coach. You're the player. That's what this is going to be, athlete of the year. And you have, drum roll, please, and then go ahead and say it.
Deebo Samuel.
You do have Deebo Samuel. And why is that?
That is pretty self-explanatory.
It is.
They put him all over the field. He's kind of like Tyreek Hill. You put him in the backfield, he'll run a 50-yard touchdown, throw the ball to him, screens. When they need a big play, they get Deebo Samuel the ball. I mean, they throw it to Lisa Hay, Diddle Kittle up the middle. They get a George Kittle here and there, but that offense moves with Debo Samuel.
Yeah, I agree. I obviously have the same thing. It really came down to between him and Cordell Patterson. I thought Cordell Patterson was the kind of the beginning of it, of the running of the gadget guy, and then I think basically what they did in San Francisco is they said, hey, we can do the exact same
It's
thing
working.
with Debo Samuel, but better. I went and looked at the stats because I was like, man, if these stats are close, I'm taking Cordell because he has it.
I get it.
It's just one of those like
Yeah.
he revolutionized.
He deserves it almost.
But
Yeah.
he has like 300 more rushing yards, but like almost 800 less receiving yards on the year. So I had to go with Debo as well. It's just what needed to be done. He is the gadget player, the athlete of the year in my eyes. But next up, we do have defensive rookie of the year. We end up both being the same on this. I really wanted to give it to one person for the Kansas City Chiefs, but I couldn't because
I could.
he
Yeah.
just like from what he was doing all year. And Micah played obviously more snaps than Nick Bolton, but I had to give it to Micah. You did as well. So
yeah.
I mean, the dude's a freak of nature. You also look at the fact that he was drafted at one position, made the move to the other position, and absolutely just dominated it. I mean, even we looked at it that, he came in. The thing was always known for Patrick Mahomes just being a little bit faster than the person chasing him. Ended up not being the case for Micah. Micah tracked him down in the back. I mean, he did it several times to everybody. I can't give Micah Defensive Player of the Year. That is going to be a little sneak, but rookie-wise, he was easily the best. Minus Mike, if Nick Bolton got as many chances at Micah, we could see where he was at. But the thing is Nick Bolton really only beat him in tackles for loss. He didn't beat him in the whole aspect of sacks and stuff like that.
And that's just in the situation they put Micah Parsons in compared to Nick Bolton. I mean, Micah Parsons in that position to affect the game every play. Every play. I mean, like you said, brought him in linebacker, throw him defensive end, and that's let him wreak havoc. And most times he was playing, he was the best defender on the field, except for maybe his buddy behind him, Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah. And moving on to Defensive Player of the Year, I guess the problem with having a co-host that thinks a lot like you is that we kind of get to having the same people. We are in a 3 in a row. We both have TJ Watt. Unfortunately, his complaint or his decision was sent to the NFL to grant him the last sack. Didn't go through, so he did end up tying the record with Michael Strahan.
That sucks.
Yeah. The reason he gets my Defensive Player of the Year is, one, he was the closest to breaking a record. And yeah, you're gonna say, oh, he had one more game this year compared to the other games, but he ended up doing it in less games than Michael Strahan because he was out a couple games, and then there was some games that he only played like a half of it, and then he was over on the sideline with a hamstring injury or something like that. So I got TJ Watt just for the simple fact that he is a monster. He is like baby brother of JJ, and I think if JJ Watt stayed healthy the whole year, TJ might have done even better because he definitely would have showed out because his brother was on the field too. Like, that's the thing we talked about, that they argue so much together that the other brother, Derek, has to kind of be the hey, guys, calm down. Like, because what'd he say? Congrats on a 20-sack season. You'll finally be the second one at the dinner table to have 20 sacks or something like that. Too bad the other guy has done it twice or already or something like that, is what JJ sent TJ. So, TJ might break it next year if he stays healthy.
He might too. Yeah, the way he's playing right now, he has a great chance to do that. Like I said last podcast, I'm like, it doesn't count because he plays more games, but you're right. He did all this in less games, and the dude is, man, he's a freak. He's a freak. Like, I never thought when I saw him like line up and play that he was going to be as good as he was, and he exceeded all my expectations of being defensive end. The dude's, he's unblockable right now.
Exactly. I think so too. But moving on to, we finally have difference of opinion. I know they don't know yet, but skills player of the year. So this is the best skills position, non-quarterback. I mean, this could be your MVP, or for the main part, mostly quarterback's going to be your MVP kind of thing.
Yep.
But skills player of the year.
Jonathan Taylor.
Okay. And let's know why.
Man, dude, basically he single-handedly almost carried the Colts to the playoffs because we know it wasn't Carson Wentz. Let me tell you. Uh, Whenever the Colts needed a big play and the show out, Jonathan Taylor was there. Uh, the dude led the NFL rushing yards, I believe touchdowns too, if I'm not mistaken. I get a chance to research this too much before we started here, but yeah, you can't sit there and tell me he wasn't one of the most impressive offensive players in the NFL this year.
I agree. I agree. Except I don't agree. I agree, but I don't agree because
I get you. I
the
get you.
guy that was the skills player of the year for me was obviously and undoubtedly had to be Cooper Cup. You know, it took these horses a decade or so to win a triple crown. Cooper Cup did it in 1 year with a serviceable quarterback. Um, so, you know, he actually, and I know for a fact, he got the triple crown of passing yards,
Mm-hmm.
touchdowns, and receptions.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to be the skills player of the year. That does show you kind of why Sean McVay went out and got a Matthew Stafford. Now, is it going to translate to the playoffs? I don't know. He's going to have to limit the turnovers, kind of thing. But it
Yeah.
does help when you have Cooper Cup. He does have he almost won, I guess, you could call it the quadruple crown if they would have had the most passing yards / receiving yards combined.
Mm-hmm.
I can't with Drew. He gets in this chat and says Cooper Cup's not even the best wide receiver. I don't understand how he's not the best wide receiver if he leads all the cat categories. So.
Oh, well, Potter, that was nice. I didn't realize
Yes.
Jonathan Taylor won Triple Crown for running
Thank you,
backs.
Brian Zito
Thank you,
Potter.
Potter.
Yes, that was good of you. Drew coming in here with the hot takes. I guess he thinks he's watching First Take or something. Potter's at least coming in here and doing something for the show. Drew coming in here saying Devontae Adams is better than Cooper Kupp when Devontae Adams doesn't have anything close to touchdowns, receptions, or, you know, like, they don't give out second place triple crowns, do they? I'm pretty sure you only get the top of all that. You get the triple crown. So Cooper Kupp,
right?
Obviously.
Hey, don't get me wrong. Devontae Adams is a stud.
But like,
he's a freak. He's a stud. But we're gonna give it to Cooper
Kupp. Who's the best wide receiver this year? Like, if we did best wide receiver this year, who is it going to be?
Cooper Kupp.
Because he won the triple crown. Like, that's like saying, Jonathan Taylor. That's like, you know, if we did best running back, Jonathan Taylor obviously won it, and then somebody comes in here and says, no, Derrick Henry would have been. No, because injuries also play into a factor. And sorry, Derrick Henry didn't have everything that Jonathan Taylor did. So you can't.
No. Put it this way, like, you got to be impressed with Cooper Kupp's season that he put up, and he did it with Matt Stafford. Devontae Adams did Aaron Rodgers. That's almost too easy for that combination right there. You got to go with it. I think it's more impressive that he did all that with Matt Stafford than Devontae Adams putting up 1,500 yards with Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly. But moving on next to offensive rookie of the year. You have
Jamar Chase.
Tell me more.
Oh, tell me more. I mean, you guys watching this season. This dude went from not being able to catch a cold to catching everything thrown his way. Well, here and there. But just setting the rookie record. Almost, he set the franchise record as a rookie season. He said the Bengals franchise record is rookie season, and then led all rookies in receiving this year. I mean, the dude's a stud. You saw what he did against the Chiefs and numerous teams this year. As I said, I'm just overall impressed with how it translated to NFL level, and in his, I would say, his connection with Joe Burrow. I mean, I thought he'd be good, but I didn't think it would turn into what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw it at LSU, but the way it turned out to be in the NFL, I was actually kind of shocked.
I agree. Yeah, Jamar Chase definitely was a pick up there for me as well. He did not end up taking the offensive rookie of the year for me. And also for Drew, again, it said it took Taylor 6 more weeks to catch Henry. I want him to check the stats on how many carries Jonathan Taylor got compared to Henry and when he surpassed him, because he actually surpassed Henry's yards with less carries per game and that whole year. So, well, not the whole year because he was out, but he got the yards that Henry had when Henry went down with injury on like 50 less carries. So, yeah. Anyway, he will be happy with this one. Drew Clark, and offensive rookie of the year for me is Creed Humphrey. It is simple to me. One, I am kind of a homer, but two, I'll give you the whole reason. The best ranked center in this NFL year was Creed Humphreys. when you look at what a team needed so much after a year before, it was offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs. Creed came in, did what we needed, and that's bigger for the team than anything else. Jamar Chase, great. He was like top 4 wide receivers, so he wasn't, number 1 in his area. But then also, if he wasn't there, I think the Bengals are still making the playoffs this year. It probably just would have.
They still are loaded.
Yeah,
the
it still would have
receiving
been Tyler Boyd,
receiving
or
core.
it would have been T. Higgins that goes off.
Higgins, yep.
That finally, Drew's giving me the freaking pat on the back I need. I'm the smartest man alive. I'm glad that we can finally come to the conclusion of that. But yeah, I had Creed Humphrey. I've always thought that. Creed is good. That's kind of the shirts that are going around Kansas City. Will he get it? No, because it's not a flashy position to win Rookie of the Year. But if you look at it, what he did for his team compared to any other rookie besides maybe Mac Jones, I mean, yeah, the Chiefs made it to the Super Bowl. But we saw what happened when you don't have an offensive line, and now that's completely like you're not even worried about the offensive line. Like you're now like people are saying, well, is Mahomes screwed up because the offensive line's so good that he hadn't had this good of an offensive line? But I didn't get.
I like it. I like it.
Okay. I didn't get your quarterback of the year, and when I was doing the copy pasta on all these, I still have Micah Parsons. So I need your rookie of the year or your quarterback of the year.
Aaron Rodgers.
I'm glad it's Aaron Rodgers. We both have that as Aaron Rodgers, so I will fix that. But as of right now, you're going to look weird because you're just going to have Micah Parsons as yours. So,
I mean, he was chasing quarterbacks all year
for sure. But we both have Aaron Rodgers, and the reason we have Aaron Rodgers is because he's the best quarterback this year.
And,
I mean, Mahomes was good. Yes, he was kind of my next pick. But the thing comes down to is at one point, I think Mahomes had an interception in like 5 straight games. Rodgers don't even have that many interceptions in the regular season. So,
yeah, 4. Is it 38 and 4?
Yeah, I believe so.
38 touchdowns. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say behind that.
There's nothing you can't say. He's putting the ball in the bucket for any wide receiver, and it's not like he's throwing terrible passes, and it's not like he's going out there and just making boneheaded plays. Like he's still throwing the football. It's not like he's not throwing the football.
Oh,
it's like Carson Wentz, who was 26-6 or something like that. But he is the MVP to me, and he is the quarterback of the year for me. And Drew's saying he doesn't lead in any stats. I don't know. Based on my logic, it needs to be
because we got
to. He does. He threw the least amount of interceptions this year for quarterbacks that started every single game that he played in. Like he doesn't give the ball back to the other team. He leads the league. You better come with this argument, or don't come at all.
It goes back to argument we had about Tom Brady being the GOAT.
Yeah, and what was that argument?
Yeah, that Tom Brady's not the GOAT because he doesn't lead everything in stats, and there's other players that are better than Tom Brady that play football.
But he's a winner.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to be as a quarterback, a winner. If quarterbacks don't bring you wins, then what position does? And it's not a team game. It is a team game, but it's not a team game because we've seen the great quarterbacks lead teams without defenses as far as they can until you need something like that. I mean, we've seen it several years, but granted, Brady's good in his own aspect because he was chosen to lead a team that didn't need him to, and he grew into that. Mahomes came in with a bum-ass defense and led the team as much as he could, but he had way better skill players than a lot of these quarterbacks had when they came in. Rodgers kind of the same way. Rodgers didn't have a great defense, but he had Greg Jennings, he had Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson. Like he's had several of these players that come in afterwards that are taken up to the next level and makes you good. Like the best thing for a quarterback is to have good people around you that eventually make you believe in the person that everybody else believes in you, and then you go with it kind of thing. But that is our You Hear Us Sports Show award show.
Drew's about to get upset.
Yeah, Drew's making no sense at all. Like he doesn't want this argument right now. Your Devontae argument's not valid because it's the triple crown of that position. He didn't lead in receptions. He didn't lead in touchdowns. He didn't lead in yards per catch. He didn't lead in yards. So how are you going to give it to somebody that doesn't win any of those? Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers leads in a couple of those statistical categories. So, hey, Joe Flacco's elite too. He even said it himself. He said, "I'm an
Joe
elite
Flacco
quarterback."
is elite. Yeah.
Joe Flacco. Here's a hot take for you, Drew, since you love those so much. Joe Flacco will have more Super Bowls than Lamar Jackson does. Boom. Write it down. I don't know if Joe Flacco. I don't know.
Hey, and
go ahead.
Aaron Rodgers led his team to the best record in the NFL.
Yeah. And in the best. Oh, and last I checked, number 1 seed.
Yes, number 1 seed. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
hold on. Can you hear me? Okay, you just cut out for me. Hold on. I still can't hear you. Hold on, let me try here. You can hear me? What is going on here?
I must have pressed the side of my button. You should be good. Unmute yourself.
I got you now.
I guess I muted myself over here. But anyway, as Drew was trying to sit here and argue with me that that Aaron Rodgers doesn't lead any statistical category in the NFL. He's first in interceptions, and he's first with the best QBR in the NFL this year. Tied for 4th in touchdowns and tied in top 10 for yards with the game that he's missed. So nobody else is running a Brady played every single game this year and an extra game.
I'm sorry, I'm still. I was reading it. I was trying to catch up on the chat there.
And you know what else is like? He's talking about Brady again. What was the Saints game that Brady played in? How many touchdowns did he throw in the Saints game? I can't remember.
The Saints argument. I mean, hey, Aaron Rodgers didn't play great against Saints either.
No, he didn't. But let's just check the Saints game. What did Aaron Rodgers' stat line in the Saints game? What was it?
I don't know. Let's see here.
I'll let you in on a secret.
It wasn't as bad as Brady's.
It wasn't as bad as Brady. He had a 53.6 completion percentage. He still threw for 133 yards. He threw 2 interceptions, and he got sacked once. I mean, if we want to pull up some stat lines, but after that game, he didn't have a single game under 100. I guess the Bears. Man, he said he owned the Bears in that game, and he only threw for 195. That's crazy.
I think they scored everywhere else but him.
Yeah.
That game.
That's wild. Yeah. You can argue the stats, but I just gave you the 2 stats. What is the biggest stat that they talk about in the NFL? It's QBR. And Aaron Rodgers leads number 1 in QBR, and he doesn't turn the ball back over to the other team.
Yes. Drew, I understand what Drew is saying with the stats, but it's also stats, eye test. It's also kind of a accumulation of a lot of things to go together. You can't seriously sit here and think Tom Brady had a
well, it's not even Tom Brady.
Better,
he's trying to bring up the stats argument with Tom Brady being the MVP after he looked like dog water against the Saints and barely led his team. Like, that's your Super Bowl champion last year. Like, Aaron Rodgers went through COVID, whatever you want to call it, and did not turn the ball over. But he wants to compare, like, he's trying to bring in stats when we're saying that Cooper Kupp's the triple crown of his position, and he's trying to say Devontae Adams is better wide receiver than Cooper Kupp this year. Like, yeah, if you put Devontae Adams on the Rams, is he going to have the same stats? Yes. But also, you have to think he might not have the triple crown.
Like, if you're going to compare, Devontae Adams overall might be an actual better receiver than Cooper Kupp. But Cooper Kupp had a better season than Devontae Adams. But also, I understand what you're trying to say, that Brady might have more yards, more touchdowns and stuff than Aaron Rodgers. But Me personally, I think Aaron Rodgers had a better overall season by leading his team to the number one seed, being more efficient, and overall looking like a better quarterback all year compared to Tom Brady.
And on top of that, let's think about what the Packers look like without Aaron Rodgers this year. They look
Dog shit.
Yes, they look terrible against a team that was supposed to not even be in the game if he played. In the Chiefs, the Chiefs were supposed to be terrible. Their defense was supposed to be terrible. So I mean, it's one of those like, I mean, Rodgers is the MVP this year. Brady lost it when you want to talk. You brought up stats and eye test. You're correct. Brady lost it when the Saints game happened to him, not once but twice this year. Now, I wish the Saints would have made it in the playoffs because I guess we would have found out if they could do that to more than one team. But
right.
It's just one of those that I don't think Brady is leading. Like, Brady wasn't close to being an MVP for a team that didn't have anybody in New England, and then now he goes to Tampa and he has all these gadgets. But now like we're gonna give him MVP because he has all these people behind him. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Bucks
Potter's in the chat hating.
I mean, Jameis Winston had the most
30 for 30.
Yeah, he was 30 for 30. So they didn't look all that bad. I mean, this dude's still out here getting touchdowns and stuff. He plays in an offense where they didn't have a running game besides playoff Lindy finally came on, and then they started throwing the ball. But I don't know. I mean, there is an argument to be had, but
there is.
Brady lost it. Brady might not even be top 3 to me. Like, you're going to give it to Burrow. You're almost going to give Burrow the comeback player of the year and MVP talks because of what have you done for me lately kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Who did he say was going to be skills player of the year? Devontae Adams? Like, that one's kind of more egregious to me than this whole Brady Rodgers thing. Like, that's like the coach showing you that a kid has, 20 points a game, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, is leading the team and everything, and then you might be the second or third best in the league that year, but you're saying, well, I should be playing over him, kind of thing. That's what that reminds me of. It's like a kid trying to come and say, well, I should get more playing time, even though I'm behind him on the bench and he's doing really good. Like Devontae Adams to Cooper Kupp argument is like the Eagles quarterback. What's his name?
Jalen Hurts or Minshew?
Minshew. It's like Minshew coming up like, hey, how do I become the starter of this team? And it's like, well, don't be playing behind Jalen Hurts, who's having a really good year right now. Like, sorry, right. You're kind of stuck. Like, that's the Devontae Adams argument to me, is that Cooper Kupp's just had a better year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he has, stat-wise, 145 receptions, 123, 191 targets, 169, almost 2,000 yards receiving this year to 1,553. He averages more yards per catch than Devontae Adams. They're both tied for longest of 59. No 20-plus touchdown, though. He has 16 touchdowns to 11. I guess you could bring back the argument that Devontae Adams didn't get to play with Aaron Rodgers one game. But, I mean, it's just, like, I'm looking at this fantasy thing, and there's only, like, 3 places that there's not green on Cooper Kupp's side this year. And, like, this is the argument I'm having. But, yeah. 30 touchdowns, 30. Hey, you let me know if another quarterback that threw 30 touchdowns along with turning the ball over that much. It's the offense that they're in. Like, Brady wouldn't look that good if he's not in a Bruce Arians air raid offense. I'll tell you that right now, too. If you believe that, then you don't know football because you didn't watch Brady for the Patriots the last year before he decided to go somewhere else with Godwin, with Mike Evans, with then Antonio Brown, with then Rob Gronkowski, with then O.J. Howard that they drafted supposed to be high, plus Cameron Brate, who was good at another, position, and then getting Le'Veon Bell to show up, LaShawn McCoy to show up, Leonard Fournette to show up, all these names that wanted to go play with Tom Brady and basically make it a super team like, oh, shit, Rob Gronkowski went down. That's all right. You still have Cameron Brate, who was a tight end number 1 on another team, and then O.J. Howard, who was drafted, who was supposed to be a tight end number 1 on the team. Oh, shit, right. Antonio Brown took his shirt off and is running off. That's fine. You had Chris Godwin until he got hurt.
Scotty Miller came back.
You have Scotty Miller. You have all these other wide receivers that are like just itching for the chance to prove it. I mean, Scotty Miller might be the next Wes Welker, Julian Edelman for him in the playoffs. Like, it's just it's not an argument to me. I'd almost pick Matt Stafford. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going that far. That's when you get hot takey. I do want to say thank you to all 69 of you, nice subscribers on the YouTube.
Let's go.
Let's go. I honestly don't even know if I want another subscriber. Like, I want Drew to take the honorary. I'll unsubscribe when somebody subscribes to keep it at 69. Like, that's Drew's job. I'm not throwing out Winston Stamm. Do you not like? I'm going to get him on the show just to put him in his place. I threw him out, proving to you that a quarterback that's not even close to being as good or in the same bracket as them quarterbacks can have a good year where they're at.
We did pick Devontae over Kupp. Like I said, if you put Devontae Adams and Cooper Kupp, you're probably going to go with Devontae Adams because he actually is probably an overall better receiver. But in this situation for this season, Cooper Kupp had a better season, and like you say, he won a Triple Crown. We're going to go with Cooper Kupp.
On top of that, I think what is the title of our awards tonight? 2021 NFL Regular Season Awards. So you're not taking Devontae over Cooper Kupp in that. Am I right or am I right?
Hey, it's our show, right?
It is. It is our show.
It's our show. We can pick. Drew, we still love you, though.
Nah, I don't know. You're getting a little crazy on these hot takes. You might need to step it back a little bit.
But that's what makes the show good.
This isn't a good year, though. That isn't a good year, though. Okay.
Okay. That's not a good year.
You all want to hear Drew's flag football quarterback rating? -6. The dude had the longest time to throw a pass, and he threw an interception. So I guess that wasn't a good year for us, even though we do need to start the You Hear Us Flag Football League in Kansas, in Fort Scott. We need to get that started.
I need to start stretching now.
Redemption. He needs to be QB1 again, even though he's like 6'5". He wants to be QB1. He's the Brucey. Like, no, go out there and run the routes and show me Devontae Adams. He's like, no, I'm gonna be quarterback. I'm gonna chill. Appreciate it.
You go run, Drew. I'll throw you the football.
He would. Yeah. We did not have a quarterback. I will agree. Drew was on my team, and we did not have a quarterback on our team that could get that man the football. Or really anybody else besides the other team the football.
6 foot forever. Can't get him the football.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna go any more detail about that. I heard.
We really needed you. You shouldn't have been out of town, kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, we'll get out of here. I don't even know if we can turn the show into a podcast because like they're gonna hear us talking. They're gonna be like, "What the hell are they talking about?" Because they're not gonna be able to read chat on the podcast. So we'll do better at that next time. But this has been You Hear Us, the live show. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back. We'll probably do Monday night because we want to get through all the wild card games.
We'll put our picks out though.
Oh no, we'll be back Friday night. Sorry, we'll be back Friday because are you reffing anywhere?
No. Yeah, everything's canceled.
That's what I figured. So we will be back Friday night. Maybe we'll get Drew's hot take ass in here. He's got a Peloton coming. Yeah. He's getting ready. Hey, February Football League, you better watch out.
hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, Drew is gonna get on that Peloton, and the first time he rides and gets off that bike, he's gonna collapse.
Hopefully his wife's there. Hopefully Eric is there ready to pick him up or his son.
To catch him. Yeah.
But we're gonna get out of here. We'll be back Friday with our picks. Again, as of right now, I have the Raiders taking down the Bengals.
No, Bengals right there.
But it's still there's still time.
But I won't put a Dean Boozled on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Drew, I still hate you for that.
Those were disgusting. But anyway, Drew, don't leave me. Sorry, Drew. We'll be out of here. We'll be back Friday. Appreciate y'all tuning in, hanging out. Duffy out.